Good morning, everybody. Bormac here for the game I think I'm supposed to be playing this morning. Can't promise it. I'm pretty tired. I was tired. I wound up sleeping a lot. And now I'm here. Folded cloth. Yay! Alright. I think that thing's clipping into the wall. I wonder how hard it was for him to shove it into the wall like that. Anyway. I'm pretty sure we are done here now. Nothing left.
The company's work is never done, friend.
Dude, get a lozenge. Do you have anything? You outrank me. I can't give you assignments. You aid me. You know, this seems kind of loud. What I want to bet? Yep, master volume's way up there again. So, nothing left to do in this place. Kinda wish there was, but, you know, oh well. That was loud. Now, those torches, good grief. We need to go up there. Kind of a trek. Just a bit of a trek. I think there's a place we can stop by on our way there. What say you? What say you? Let's just go then. I'm just looking at the map. Yep, you're a bear. Now you're a dead bear. What's really annoying is that this long walk up is going to be capped off by a long walk back to the fort, and then another long walk up because they thought that would be fun. Nope, not joking. Hey, barbarian. Hey guys, how's it going? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Too slow. What the heck? I think I've wandered into a weather pattern. A very loud weather pattern. Or there's a tornado somewhere around here. What is my volume up to? If there was an indicator like, yeah, your volume's about up to the middle. Okay, I think this is supposed to be a blizzard. Oh no, I'm freezing to death. Oh wait, no, I could run around naked in it. Hey, boar. carnivore rider. Oh jeez. No. Hey, bunch of people. Altar of Thrond, huh? Oh, it's this guy. There. How's that? Well, we found that guy completely by accident. In the midst of our flight through the tundra. Now, if I can find who teaches them, I really want to learn the mark and recall spells so I can cast them myself. That would be most useful for a situation like this. Hey bear. What's this up here? Oh, it's these guys. Hey, my stuff. Oh jeez. Too heavy! Okay, I'll just pick one up then. With these people living in holes in the ice. What's wrong with you? Oh, this is a dungeon. Okay, that's a bear. There's a separate structure around somewhere. That's some kind of a mead hall. Hey doggy. Hey bear. Ow. You guys are jerks. Hey, a bridge. They do know how to build structures. Of course, from the looks of it, they don't know how to guard them. It's not enough that everybody's like 20 levels higher than me, but most of them are hanging out in giant groups. Guess I didn't need the wizard staff. Come on then, you stupid. Go away. I hate you. You are hideous. This is kind of BS. And I wish I didn't have to do all the fighting on my own. But no one's ever going to help me. Come on, midget. Wow, really? I'm taking your glove, man. found the village anyway. Hey! In the Great Hall. Is this a Great Hall? No. Oh, that's probably the Great Hall. Hey, you.
I take it you want something. Well, what is it?
Nice armor. Ice Maid, Snowheart, Stone, Freezy Foot, the Great Hall. And again with the fire that deafens everything. Jeez.
What do you want, stranger? Why are you among the Skall?
I want you to turn the volume on your fire down. We can hear it way back on the mainland. Yes, this. They cut their trees and dig their holes. They have little to show for after a day's toil. They do not respect this land or its creatures. I don't either. They're horrible. No offensive, but though I have no love for them, the Skall would never do such a thing. We prefer to let the Imperials kill themselves slowly. But these creatures that attacked, these were not wolves of this island. You finished your business here? Wolves? Business here. Say you brought the bones of one of our ancestors? Stupid Imperials. They need to leave things as they are. Still, it is good that you've returned this to the Skall. Perhaps there is hope for you and your kind. Welcome here for the moment. There is much to atone for. This. Here's have defiled these lands. Defiled the lands. Oneness. Oneness is the Skall power. Blah blah. Restore the power of the Skall. Speak with Coursed Windeye in the Shaman's hut. He will give you further instructions. Okay. No, I can't sit in your throne. Well, that's progress. Fortunately. It's the Skall loyalty. Huh. You know, I thought there was a point where you had to go back to talk to the person that sent you up here again. Like, yeah, I went there, and they'd say, well, you didn't do good enough, now go back.
Today's your lucky day.
Go away.
Let's hear it.
Hey, a blacksmith. Snedbreer the Smith. Are you Snedbreer the Smith? You are chunky. Let's see what you've got. Claymore, boots, helmet, hammer, tongs. Excuse me, I'm all excited. Can't take it, or I would, but I'd get arrested for stealing. Shaman's hut. Shaman's hut. Iceman's hut. Wind eye. Looking for a wind eye. This looks like a hut. Nope. Shaman's hut. Here for this quest. I will assist you. There is a ritual that must be completed. On Solsteam you will find 6 standing stones, each representing one of the 6 gifts of the Allmaker. Each of these stones, a ritual must be completed. Once the ritual of the gifts is complete, the oneness should be restored. Locations of the stone has been added to your inventory. Be too much for any of the Skall to remember. Any not of the Skall to remember. Take this. It will explain the rituals and guide you on your way. This book may be of some use to you as well. If you are to remain with the Skall, you should understand our beliefs. Okie dokie then. Child, he was growing into a fine boy, and soon he would see the value of the stories and lessons they were taught to each generation. Just listen, child. Let the story take root in your heart. In a time before now, long before now, when the Skall were new, there was peace in the land. The sun was hot, and the crops grew long, and the people were happy. In the peace that the Allmaker provided, the Skall grew complacent and lazy. They took for granted the lands and all the gifts the Allmaker had given them. They forgot, or chose not to remember, the adversary that is always watching, and that he delights in tormenting the Allmaker and his chosen people. And so it was that the adversary came to be among the Skall. The adversary has many aspects. He appears in the unholy beasts and the incurable plague. At the end of seasons, we will know him as Thartrag, the World Devourer. But in these ages, he came to be known as the Greedy Man. The Greedy Man, that is what we will call him, for to speak his name would certainly bring ruin on people. Lived among the Skall for many months. Perhaps he was once just a man. He became the Greedy Man, and that is how he is remembered. It came to be one day that the powers of the Skall left them. Their strength left their arms of the warriors. The shamans could no longer summon the beast to their side. Elders thought that surely the Allmaker was displeased, and some suggested that the Allmaker had left them forever. It was then that the Greedy Man appeared to them and spoke. You of the Skall have all grown fat and lazy. I have stolen the gifts of your Allmaker, and have stolen the oceans, so that you will forever know thirst. I have stolen the lands and the trees and the sun. Your crops will wither and die. Stolen the beasts, so you will go hungry, and I have stolen the winds, so you will live without the spirit of the Allmaker. And until one of you can reclaim these gifts, the Skall will live in misery and despair. For I am the Greedy Man, and that is my nature. Then the Greedy Man disappeared. You know, I think they pretty much ripped this straight off of some other folklore, like real folklore. Members of the Skall spoke for many days and nights. They knew that one of them must retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker, but they could not decide who it should be. I cannot go, said the elder, for I must stay to lead the Skall. Tell our people what is the law. I cannot go, said the warrior, for I must protect the Skall. My sword will be needed in case the Greedy Man reappears. I cannot go, said the shaman, for the people need my wisdom. I must read the portents and offer my knowledge. Then a young man called Avar lifted his voice. He was strong of arm and fleet of foot, though he was not yet a warrior of the Skall. I will go, said Avar, and the Skall laughed. Hear me out, the boy continued. I am not yet a warrior, so my sword will not be needed. I cannot read the portents, so the people will not seek my counsel. And I am young and not yet wise in the ways of law. I will retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker from the Greedy Man. If I cannot, I will not be missed. Skall thought on this briefly and decided to let Avar go. He left the village next morning to retrieve the gifts. Avar first set out to retrieve the gift of water, so he traveled to the water stone, and it was there that the Allmaker first spoke to him. Travel west to the sea and follow the swimmer to the waters of life. Avar walked to the edge of the ocean. This is going to take a while. And there was the swimmer, a black horker, sent from the Allmaker. The swimmer dove down into the waters and swam very far. And far again. Avar was strong though, and he swam hard. He followed the swimmer into a cave, swimming deeper and deeper, his lungs burning and his limbs exhausted. At last he found a pocket of air, and there, in the dark, he found the waters of life. Gathering his strength, he took the waters and swam back to shore. Upon returning to the Waterstone, the Allmaker spoke. You have returned the gift of water to the Skall. The oceans again will bear fruit, and their thirst will be quenched. Or then traveled to the Earthstone, and there the Allmaker spoke to him again. Enter the cave of hidden music, and hear the song of the earth. So Eivor traveled north and east to the cave of hidden music, and he found himself in a large cavern where rocks hung from the ceiling and grew from the ground itself. Stalactites and stalagmites? He listened there and heard the song of the earth, but it was faint. Grabbing upon his mace, he struck the rocks on the floor in time with the song. The song grew louder until it filled the cave in his heart. Then he returned to the Earthstone. With the Skall again, the lands are rich again and will bear life. In this perpetual blizzard they will bear life. Eivor was tired, and the sun burned him, and the trees offered no shade. And there was no wind to cool him. Still he traveled to the Beast Rock, and the Allmaker spoke. Find the good beast, and ease his suffering. Eivor traveled through the woods of Isenfir something. For many hours until he heard the cries of a bear from over. Oh gosh, another bear. Crested the hill and saw the bear, a falmer's arrow piercing its neck. He checked the woods for the falmer, for that is what they were, though some say they are not. Finding none, he approached the beast and spoke soothing words and came upon it slowly, saying, Good beast, I mean you no harm. The Allmaker sent me to ease your suffering. Then he chopped off its head. No. Hearing these words, the bear ceased its struggles and laid its head at Eivor's feet. Eivor grasped the arrow and pulled it from the bear's neck. Using little nature magic he knew, Eivor tended to the wound, though it took the last bit of his strength. As the bear's wound closed, Eivor slept. When he awoke, the bear stood over him, and the remains of a number of Falmar were strewn about. He knew that the good beast had protected him during the night. He traveled back to the Beast Rock, the bear by his side, and the Allmaker spoke to him again. You return the gift of the beasts again. The good beasts will feed the Skall when they are hungry and clothe them when they are cold and protect them in times of need. Eivor's strength has returned, so he traveled to the Tree Stone, though the good beast did not follow him. When he arrived, the Allfather spoke to him. The first trees are gone, and must be replanted. Find the seed and plant the first tree. Eivor traveled through the Herstang forest, searching for the seeds of the first tree, but he could find none. Then he spoke to the tree spirits, the living trees. They told him the seeds had been stolen by one of the farmer, for they were servants of the adversary. This farmer was hiding them deep in the forest so that none could ever find them. Eivor traveled to the deepest part of the forest, and there he found the evil farmer. So apparently he didn't go deep enough into the forest, so none could find him, because Eivor found him. Surrounded by lesser tree spirits, Eivor could see that the spirits were in his thrall, and that he used the magic of the seeds and spoke in their secret name. Eivor knew that he could not stand against such a force, and he must retrieve the seeds in secret. Eivor reached into his pouch and drew out his flint. Gathering leaves, he started a small fire outside the clearing. The farmer and the ensorcelled spirits were milled. All the Skall know the spirits hated fires, for the fires ravaged the trees they serve. At once the nature of the spirits took hold, and they rushed to quell the flames. During the commotion, Eivor snuck behind the farmer and snatched a pouch of seeds, stealing away before the evil being knew they were gone. When Eivor returned to the tree stone, he planted the tree in the ground, and the Allmaker spoke to him. The gift of trees is restored once again. The trees and plants will bloom and grow, provide nourishment and shade. He was tired, for the sun would only burn and the winds would not yet cool him. But he rested briefly in the shade of the trees. His legs were weary and his eyes heavy. He continued traveling to the Sunstone. Again the Allmaker spoke. The gentle warmth of the sun is stolen, so now it only burns. Free the sun from the halls of Penumbra. Weird. So Eivor walked west, over the frozen lands until he reached the halls of Penumbra. The air inside was thick and heavy, and he could see no further than the end of his arm. Still he felt his way along the walls. though place was held by unholy beasts that would tear at his flesh and eat his bones. We're going to be fighting more of them Skall dogs. For hours he crept until he saw the faint glow at the far end of the hall. There, hidden behind a sheet of perfect ice, came the glow so bright he had to shut his eyes, lest they be forever blinded. He plucked the flaming eye from one of the unholy beasts and threw it at the ice. With all his might, a small crack appeared in the ice, and then it grew larger. Slowly the light crept between the cracks, widening them, splitting the ice wall into pieces. With a deafening crack, the wall crumbled, and the light rushed over Avar and through the halls. He heard the shrieks of the unholy beasts. As they were blinded and burned, he ran out of the halls, following the light, and collapsed on the ground outside. When he was able to rise again, the sun warmed him, and he was glad for that. He traveled back to the Sunstone, where the Allmaker spoke to him. The gift of the sun is the Skalls once again. It will warm them and give them light. It wasn't giving light before? Avar had one final gift he had to recover, the gift of the winds. So he traveled to the Windstone, far on the western coast of the island. When he arrived, the Allmaker spoke to him, giving him his final task. Find the greedy man and release the wind from his captivity. So Avar wandered the land in search of the greedy man. He looked in the trees, but the greedy man did not hide there. Nor did he hide in the oceans or in the deep caves. But the beasts had not seen him. In the dark forest, finally Avar came to a crooked house. He knew there that he would find the greedy man. "Who are you?" shouted the greedy man, "that you would come to my house?" "I am Avar of the Skall." "I am Avar of the Skalls," said Avar. "I am not a warrior, shaman, or elder. If I do not return, I will not be missed, but I have returned the oceans, the earth, the trees, the beasts, the sun, and I will return the winds to my people so that they may feel the spirit of the Allmaker in our souls again." With that, he grabbed up the greedy man's bag and tore it open. The winds rushed out with gale force, sweeping the greedy man up and carrying him off far from the island. Avar breathed in the winds, and he was glad. He walked back to the Windstone, where the Allmaker spoke to him a final time. "You have done well, Avar. The least of the Skall have returned my gifts. The greedy man is gone for now, and you should not trouble your people again in your lifetime. Your Allmaker is pleased. Go now, and live life according to your nature." Avar started back to the Skall village. "And then what happened, grandfather?" "What do you mean, child? He went home." "No, he returned to the village," the child continued. "Was he made a warrior? Or taught the ways of the shaman? Did he lead the Skall in battle?" "I do not know," said the grandfather. "That is where the story ends." "But that is not an ending. That is not how stories end." The old man laughed and got up from his chair. "Is it not?" "The end." Ha ha ha. Nice little joke there. That took a while. So, we start with the Waterstone, which is way on the frickin' western end of the island, over here. You realize how much walking you're gonna make me do over this drat-forsaken land. I don't think there's an inn here either. Resting here is illegal. And also dangerous, because you're in a blizzard. Well, looks like we're going west. How much time has it been? About 30 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed story time. It's alright, I took your glue. I think this bridge is a death trap. Oh, also. Not gonna miss that. I'm pretty sure these guys over here are gonna try to maul me, which is why I saved.